There we go. I'm Beth Schaefer. I'm from Agriculture in the Classroom. Welcome to After School with Ag in the Classroom and tonight's edition of Popcorn. So we're really excited to have some great presenters. Our Ag Insiders today are Kelly and Keith Oudenhoven from Larrand Specialty Farm Products, among other things. And we have some great featured teachers who have some amazing lessons to share. So we're going to kick it off with our featured speaker, Kelly.
Hi, thank you for having me. We greatly appreciate being here. My husband Keith, he meant to be here, but he is still doing some farm things. So our normal time that we get in from the barn is between 6:30 and 7. So I rush through, and he is still there. So we are dairy farmers. That is our first and foremost occupation. We have a milking herd, about 425 Holsteins. We recently just built a calf barn, so everything is home on site. So my main position at the farm is I am the keeper of all things that have a heartbeat. So calves, cows, young stock, employees, kids, I do it all. So in addition to that, and my husband is also very involved. So he does all of the cropping. He helps me. He's a fixture of all things. You know, when I need that second helping hand, he's always right there. So in addition to our dairy farm, I always wanted to give back to the community. And being a mom, we have four children. Being that first time mom in the supermarket, buying food for my family. So even growing up on a farm, we had a large garden, you know, that type of thing. But it was different. It was different when I became a mom and had to start buying food for my family. And, you know, they try to scare you into certain things. And so one of my goals was to open up a farm store. So selling direct to consumers, which hence the Larrand Specialty Farm Products. So Larrand Dairy is the name of our dairy farm. We wanted to continue that name with our farm store. And so in 2021, we started selling direct to consumer with just meat, with beef that is raised on site. We expanded from that. We started growing popcorn in 2022. And if you would have told me in 2022 where we're at right now with our popcorn business, I would have told you that you were absolutely crazy. Every year I'm expanding things with my farm store. So it started out as beef. We now sell popcorn. I have 148 chickens at laying hens, eggs, applesauce, salsa. Can't keep the salsa in stock. We now sell all of our extra produce, homegrown popcorn. I am expanding into the healthcare line soon with rendered beef tallow, cleaning products. The possibilities are endless. And so what started out as a fluke, my husband suggesting, hey, I think we should grow popcorn, and me being like, sure, why not? And turned into something super crazy, wonderful, and beautiful all at the same time. So you're probably wondering, like, well, what prompted him to say that? And so we started, I have a very large garden, like very large garden, because I love canning food. And we grew sweet corn to sell at my farm stand. And it grew so quickly that we could not plant enough sweet corn. And so I ended up partnering with another hobby farmer that we're really good friends with. And we started renting different plots. And so we have 8 different plots of sweet corn that we grow every year, but that also opened up a huge spot in my garden. And so my husband was like, let's try and grow popcorn. And so went to Pulaski Warehouse, bought yellow and white popcorn, and put it in the ground. And, you know, and my husband's like, how about 2 more rows? How about just 2 more rows? And I was like, yeah, sure. What's 2 more rows type of thing. It was a learning experience. So it was growing well. And our neighbors down the road, they're an older couple, very big into gardening. And, you know, she started, you know, asking questions. She's like, well, you know, you had to dry that, right? Nope, didn't know that, you know. So it went from, oh my gosh, we have to pick this by hand, we have to dry it, and then came the fun part. So we picked it by hand, dried it, hung it to dry, and then we had to shell it. And so that first year we shelled it all, and mind you, we had a bumper crop. And so we shelled it all by hand. Our hands were like calloused, raw, like from like literally shelling this corn by hand. And so my husband, a little side note. So before we came back to the farm full time, we both worked in corporate world. And so I worked in emergency veterinary medicine as a vet tech. My husband is a mechanical engineer by trade. So I win in this deal. So he started looking up different inventions and, how can we shell this popcorn in an effective way? And so he built me a sheller. And so if you want to start showing the videos, actually. So when we started picking popcorn, I actually did a bunch of segments for, I don't know if anybody's familiar with Milwaukee Wells. Is it the Midwest Farm Weekly, and it's shown on the weekends. I was doing a lot of segments for her at that point in time. I didn't, we were talking about popcorn and how it's grown and how it's processed and stuff like that. And so I took this video of us picking the popcorn. So in the beginning, just going to say hello there.
The last time I was in by Milwaukee, we were talking about the popcorn and how it grows. And at that point in time, the corn was still pretty green yet. Now, our goal was to hope to wait until November to harvest. So just like when farmers want their corn to be extremely dry when they harvest it, so there's less time involved with drying it down, it's the same with the popcorn. So as you can see, the corn is the stalks here are pretty dead. They're pretty dried down. So again, our goal was to wait until November to harvest. However, with the weather that we've been having, we are now predicted to get a little bit over an inch of snow tomorrow with high winds. So some of the stuff has been knocked down and we've been slowly just been picking it. But now with the predicted weather, we are going to try and harvest the rest of the popcorn tonight so we don't lose the crop of popcorn. So as you can see, the stalks are pretty dead. So I am just going through and picking all the corn. So with that, I'm going to go through and I'm going to husk all of it out here. So last year we kept all of the husk on it, so which is this white part here. So we kept all the husk on it, and then we would tie it up like this into bunches and hang it just like this. However, we planted 4 times as much popcorn as what we had last year, so therefore it's way too tedious to do that. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking the husk off, and we are going to lay this out and dry it like this by rotating it and hanging it in burlap sacks. So we are going through, we're harvesting all this wonderful popcorn, and we're going to test the moisture of it, see where we're at, and then go from there. So if we have to put it in the dehydrator to get the moisture at the correct level, we will do that and just wait and then do the cleaning and the processing and packaging just the way that we need to. So this is the popcorn at the harvest stage. So the kernels look a little bit different than the last time. But this is where we're at. So there you go.
So like I said in the video, we try to wait as long as possible. So the less dry time that we have to do, the better. Our garage, I transformed into our farm store. And so when we pick the popcorn, instead of hang drying it now, we set it out on tables. And I have 2 ceiling fans that I turn on. I also feed my harvest crew in the same area. So when in the middle of summer, when it's really hot out, they enjoy these fans. So I have 2 ceiling fans, and then I also have a bunch of fans that is literally just air circulating through this popcorn. And so we go out 2 times a day. We rotate it all so there's not one side that's getting more dry than the other. And so that is how we dry our popcorn now. Occasionally we'll do test pops is what we call them to test the moisture. So, and I literally do that in an air popper. So I'll grab a cob, check it, put it in the air popper. If it pops in, so too dry of popcorn, your popcorn will be really small. So if it's too dry or too wet, your popcorn will not pop that nice fluffy popcorn. So it has to be that perfect moisture. So after this year, and you can show the next video, I had taken a Snapchat. So we picked for 8 hours that day. And so this was like our full crop of popcorn that year. And so we had to get it off. It was, we were supposed to get like 3 inches of rain, high winds, and it was, we need to get this off. We need to get it off now type of thing. So that was our crop that year. So we, when I was talking about, we needed to realize, like, we shelled it all by hand the first year. And so my husband built me this sheller. And so you can see that this is actually in his workshop. So So he had made a bunch of adjustments to it. So this is in his workshop. So when we process our popcorn, we are in a clean environment in our farm store. Everything gets wiped down. It's clean. So this is in his workshop that we were testing it out. And so he put a motor on this. So he built this. Like, this is his own invention. Put a motor on it. And we tweaked this now several times. So he just tweaked it into this now this year. This is the fastest that we can, the tweaks that he made, like, this is like the fastest that we can shell it. So we will start with our crop probably in like the next month or so, shelling the popcorn from last year. And so when we realized, like, all right, like, we shelled it, like, we're good, like, we're perfect. Except for then we realized, like, it's full of like hulls and like corn dust, if you will, and like, the dried hair. And so we were talking with our neighbors, and they're like, like, oh, how did you get this clean? And she was like, oh, honey, like, we sat outside on a windy day and we just poured it from one mason jar to the next. And I was like, nope, don't have time for that. So back to the drawing board. And so again, Keith had researched, okay, how can we effectively clean this popcorn in a, kind of like a quick sort of way, because like, we now have 16 5-gallon pails full of popcorn that need to be cleaned. And so the next video, and again, this is all coming from So it did not, this is, again, we made multiple different tweaks on it. When we first started out, he built me, it was the wooden stand with where it looks like a Plinko board. And he designed it that there was a reverse vacuum on it. So we used a shop vac that's hooked onto the back, and we would pour cups through it. And so the light kernels that won't pop, all of the corn dust, like the hulls and stuff like that, like, it would go into like that compartment, and the good stuff would fall down. And so we would run it through 3 times, do a test pop again, and then run it through another 2 times. Then he wanted to make it more hands-free for me, because he's like, you can't just sit here and just constantly pour pitchers of popcorn through this. So then he built me the hopper that's on the top and put a motor on it, and with a little auger. And so I literally just have to keep filling that little hopper, and it just flows it right through. We upgraded to this vacuum this year. And so he was doing a lot of research on like vacuums and, how can we, without wrecking the shop vac, because there's a lot of dust and stuff with it. And so he built me what you can see on the screen right now. He built that, and it collects all of like the corn dust and that type of thing in the filter. And then the rest of it goes into the actual shop vac. And so made a lot of different tweaks to this too. I'm excited to use this setup this year. I think it's gonna like fast pace, our processing time. So the first 2 years or 3 years, we were selling the popcorn just as kernels, popcorn kernels. And I mean, we sold a lot of popcorn. But then came the next idea of like, what if we would sell seasoned popcorn? My husband's goal was like, he loves white cheddar popcorn. And he's like, I want to have the most white cheddar-y, the best white cheddar popcorn out there. And so we started dabbling in seasoned popcorn. And so that was about 2 years ago. And so now, I can't remember what video I sent you next. So we invested in a bunch of commercial equipment. So this is a cheese tumbler, if you will. And so we invested in a bunch of commercial equipment. So we have a massive popcorn popper. And so we started playing around with like recipes. And so the first 3 flavors that we did, it was butter, garlic parmesan, and white cheddar. And looking back, it was, the first, couple recipes that we made, I was like, oh, this is so good. And then back to the drawing table. And now we perfected those 3 recipes. We have it on our farm stand in the summer. We can't keep it in stock. We have not ventured into outsourcing it quite yet. Obviously we want people, we want to get people to our farm store. And so we have done for the Freedom Dance Competition, for the Freedom Wrestling tournament, we supply all of the popcorn. And it has really, people come back every year asking for it. Like, where's that popcorn? Where is that popcorn type of thing? Since then, of course, back to the drawing table, we are now trying to perfect our caramel corn recipe. I think we finally nailed it down, but we invested again in some more commercial equipment. I want to start dabbling into the candied popcorn, if you will, where it's different flavors, different colors. And then, we're working on a dill pickle, a sweet and salty, and then a maple bacon flavor. So those are all kind of in the works, but it's fun. It's so fun. So like I said, if you had told me when that first kernel went into the ground where we would be today with it, I would have told you that you were crazy. So my husband is a big popcorn geek, just like I am. So, in our free time, this is what we do. We're full-time dairy farmers, but we love working on this stuff. And so it's fun.
Okay, so the story is kind of crazy, and I've known Kelly a long time, and I don't know, she has a time turner from Harry Potter. She has to, because this is like a side business in itself. So I really appreciate you jumping on after the past 72 hours of like hand shoveling all of the calf hutches and all the things that you do, and just to share this story, because I think this is so cool to talk about following like your passion and your all of the things. So we've got a few moments for questions. I have so many questions, mainly about patents. If Keith has gotten a patent on any of the equipment he's designed, because he's like the popcorn MacGyver. Like, it's cool.
He actually just got in, so he heard you say that.
Oh, hey, popcorn MacGyver.
It's really about making things cheap.
Yeah, and so we do not have a patent on it. We have gotten several, I don't know if requests, like, people know that we grow our own popcorn and that type of thing, but we have gotten several requests like, oh, like, will you build me one? And not yet.
You can't afford it.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Any other questions for Kelly?
Kelly, I was just curious, how many different types of popcorn are you planting?
Sure. So we started with yellow and white. And surprisingly, yellow is dominant. white is kind of hard to grow. It's more of a sensitive variety. No matter what, we plant them next to each other. There's always yellow kernels, so they cross pollinate, and there's always yellow kernels on white cob, but there's never white, like the opposite. And so, and ironically enough, so one year we planted Indian corn kind of in that same, and they cross-pollinated. So we had purple kernels. We kind of dabbled in some cherry popcorn because on the package it said it would pop pink, and I love the color pink. They lied. It doesn't pop pink. It's white. Super hard to grow, really teeny tiny cobs. But with our caramel popcorn, we use a mushroom popcorn for that. And so we don't want to cross pollinate those. So we have to figure out, are we going to only grow mushroom popcorn this year, or what we're going to grow? So, but yellow is dominant. I mean, that was a cob in that video. And I mean, sometimes the cobs are they're huge. So, but surprisingly enough, white is a softer popcorn. So most of your white cheddar, like your white cheddar flavoring, is a white popcorn because it's softer than yellow when it's popped. So.
Is there like a flavor difference between the different kinds of?
There is not. There's not a flavor difference. I have noticed it with a mushroom popcorn. So with a mushroom popcorn, it pops that it's like a globe, and that's where all of your flavorings, like your caramel flavoring, will attach to. Where with the yellow and the white, it's more of like a butterfly, and your flavorings go on the inside and basically get absorbed by that kernel. And so there's not really a flavor difference. It's just more so like a texture. One is going to be like the harder, where the bottom of your bag of popcorn, you're going to have a lot more seeds and stuff like that. So we just do a mix. We don't have white or yellow separated. When I sell the kernels, it's just, here is your container of popcorn kernels. So.
All right. Yep, Sheila?
Yeah. So schools, we deal in purchase orders and not credit cards. So would you ever do that? Would you ever consider taking a purchase order? Because when I buy popcorn, or if a school buys popcorn, do you contract with schools to?
I haven't yet. No. How much popcorn do you normally?
Well, I'm thinking like a concession stand. You know how concession stands?
No. So I haven't. Yeah. So because I'm on the smaller scale, so we have found that too. So we work with Micah Valley Popcorn, kind of back and forth, and also Badger Popcorn in Madison too. And the way that they contract their popcorn, they blow me out of the water. I mean, I can't even touch the price that they can get popcorn for. So someday, but not today.
Yeah. Isn't that kind of why you got into the specialty? Is that how you got into that?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yes. Yeah. And so it was kind of like a fluke of, Keith suggested let's grow popcorn, but we were able to get into the schools with, them selling bags of seasoned popcorn, which, helped them out. They didn't have to have a person by the popcorn machine all day. And what I found is that either people really like to pop popcorn, or they really don't like to pop popcorn. And so they found it easy that they didn't have to have a certain person managing their concession, like their popcorn popper in their concession stand. And so, they would buy 50 bags of the butter, 25 of the white cheddar and 25 of the garlic parmesan. And I sold it to them at a discounted price. And then it was almost like, they made money on it. So we've done it that way.
Any other questions? I'm sure we could probably pick your brain, but it's definitely past how long I told you
Yes.
here. And
No,
I want to
that's
make
okay.
sure that you have your evening. But gosh, thank you so
Yeah.
much, Kelly. If you ever get a chance to visit her farm store, I highly recommend it. Or visit their dairy farm because it's
Yes.
incredible too. And they just did this. She didn't talk about this. We'll have to have her back to talk about the remodel they did of their parlor while they were starting their popcorn business. Apparently, that all overlapped.
Yeah.
That's what you do. I guess when you have high projects, you get creative, and this is an awesome, awesome time. So, we're gonna work on being able to get those of you who are live on our Ag in the Classroom. We're gonna get you some popcorn from Kelly. If you're watching this recorded, I'm really sorry. Can't throw this live. So at the end of this, I'll stop recording. I'll get everybody's contact information. So, we'll share Kelly's contact information if you have more questions. And Sheila's like already, I can see the wheels turning. But we're gonna get into the second part of our after school session with our lessons. So I'm gonna just pull up the lessons here. Any last words of um any any last words? That's not what I meant to say. Uh Again, thank you very much for being here, Kelly. And we're going to turn it over on how you can not only use the theme of popcorn in your classroom, but lessons that teachers have already developed to help you do that. So we're going to kick it off with Josh Gonzalez, who I'm gonna put a feather in his cap. He's gonna share you, but he was just named one of our 2026 National Excellence in Teaching About Agriculture Award winners, and he'll be receiving that award this summer at our National Agriculture in the Classroom Conference in Rhode Island. So we're really excited for him. We have amazing teachers in this program, so it's always fun to cheer on those little recognitions because you guys work so hard, and it's exciting to see all of the cool things you do and be able to share all of that. So. We have Josh first, followed by Sheila, who is a family and consumer sciences teacher at Waupaca, who knows a lot about popcorn as well. So, Josh, take it away.
All right. Thanks so much, Beth, for the introduction there. And thank you to everyone watching live and watching on recorded as well. So I teach in Milwaukee Public Schools, and we are an agriculture specialty school, which means that we incorporate agriculture into our everyday lessons, as well as including project-based agriculture learning opportunities. And we partner with a high school in Milwaukee Public Schools, Vincent High School, to make a pre-K through 12th grade agriculture program. So you can go all the way through and then hopefully continue on with your agriculture studies well into the rest of your life. There you go. Oh, okay. Well, so I teach at Milwaukee Public Schools, River Trail School of Agricultural Science. I'm a second grade teacher. I've been teaching for 20 years in Milwaukee Public Schools. I also serve as our school's Agriculture Committee Chairman. I was this 2024 Wisconsin Ag in the Classroom Teacher of the Year, inaugural member of our Ag in the Classroom Educator Ambassador team, and as Beth pointed out, a national winner this year of Excellence in Teaching About Agriculture Award. So one of the things we try to do is bring agriculture. No, it's okay, Beth. Let's go to the next slide. It's perfect. One of the things we try to do is bring agriculture into all of our lessons. And some of the best ways to do that are make them cross-curricular. So one of the ways one of the lessons that we've done through the years, we start off learning about, in this case, Henry Blair. Henry Blair was born in 1807. He was a free black man. He was illiterate. But he was still able to get his patent for a corn seed planter. And we know he was illiterate because he signed with an X. And we also know that he was a free man, because otherwise he would not have been allowed, as a slave, he wouldn't have been allowed to get a patent. For many years, it was believed he was the first African-American to get a patent in the United States. We've since found out that he was actually the second. But what he did, his invention, it made planting corn 8 times faster. And so what we do then is, after the kids learn about all of this, and there's not a lot about his life that we actually can learn, but after we do learning about him, we tie it into popcorn. And because, I mean, his invention was kind of like Kelly was saying, how, you're an engineer, right? And you're figuring out how to do this better. You're always thinking other ways to do it. And so it's very easy to tie some of those ideas into education. Henry Blair's corn seed planter was even displayed in the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. For, I believe it was a month, but it was still displayed there for a while. So big deal at the time. So after we read and watch videos and the students learn about Henry Blair, then what we do is this lesson is done with different grades. Different classrooms are doing it at the same time. So at my school, typically we're doing this with K4 students all the way through 2nd grade, but you could modify it to all the way up through middle school, high school if you had to. But you just differentiate the concepts to fit your students' needs. So after we read and learn about who Henry Blair was, as you guys just heard, we have the students do writing about it. For kindergarten, it might be copying a sentence, like tracing it. For my students, it's writing a basic paragraph in 2nd grade. So they're writing about it in the classroom. I'm teaching the students that there are different types of corn. Many of my students, being from the city, they don't know that there are actually different types of corn. They think sweet corn is everything. It's popcorn, it's field corn, it's Indian corn. But we try to teach them about the different types of corn. And while Henry Blair did not invent a machine for planting popcorn specifically, it could have been used to plant popcorn. We also then do art projects with the students. You can be as creative as you want when it comes to tying in art. I am not that artsy, so I'll show you my coolest thing in just a moment. But then what we also do is the students will make up, each class will make up their own recipe with popcorn and flavorings, and we'll flavor them. We'll come together, all the classes that are participating will come together, and we'll do a blind taste test. So the students are tasting all the different ones, and then they're voting for the flavors of popcorn that they liked best. And we tabulate all those votes, we graph it, and we discuss. So, I mean, we're bringing reading in, we're bringing writing in. You can do students giving presentations about what they've learned, social studies, and with bringing history and culture. Most of my students in Milwaukee Public Schools are African American at my school. So that's another way to kind of bring culture in, make it culturally relevant. Bring in agricultural sciences, the scientific method. We can try out different things when we're popping the popcorn. Culinary arts, making the popcorn, tasting them. And here's where my art usually comes in. Click the next slide. Oh, did you get the sound to go on this one? It's okay if you can't. Well, it's okay. So one of the things that I end up doing with the students, I don't know how everyone feels about AI or whatever, but I will have the students then use AI and make a song, music generators, to make songs about the topic that we're doing. So I had a song there about Henry Blair, and I probably the only one in the world to create a song about Henry Blair. But my students, they have a blast with it, and of course, as you get older into high school, they have, I'm sure will have a blast making up their own songs. You can put in your own lyrics, things that they've learned, vocabulary that you've covered. And they love watching it pop out and hearing it, and it becomes a big hit. And it's like, I have students walking around singing songs about Henry Blair. It's pretty fun. All right, next slide, please.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
So I was going to say, we'll share the slide deck after this, so you'll be able to, it has something to do with, we had to share it. It'll work when you get it.
No worries. No
You got to
worries.
listen to it because it's really cool.
So if you're looking for books, these are books that I use to help, and other teachers have used to help teach this particular lesson. The first 3 books are all linked to lessons on the Matrix about popcorn. So these are great. So if you're looking for specific lessons, even more so than what I'm doing, you can use this, click on it, and it'll take you right to lessons about popcorn on the Matrix, the Egg in the Classroom Matrix. Yep. Personally, I like the popcorn book. They're all good though.
I'll just jump in. At least 2 of those books are by Wisconsin authors as well. Chris Peterson, from Popcorn Country. She's also a dairy farmer. It must be something with dairy farmers and popcorn. I'm not sure. But Chris Peterson is an Wisconsin author, and so is Eva Moore, the Let's Pop Popcorn book as well.
Cool. You can go to the next slide. So these are also our videos. Again, it's all linked. These are videos I use in the classroom when I'm helping teach this lesson, giving the students background knowledge about Henry Blair, background knowledge about different types of corn, how popcorn is grown, where does it come from, kind of working through the whole process that Kelly gave us. So I think maybe next year I might be calling up Kelly and seeing if we could do a virtual tour or something, because that'd be really cool. Okay, so different things you're going to need if you're teaching it. You're going to need different types of kernels. So one of the things I do, I take the popcorn from the cob, and I will pop it in the classroom. I do bring in a microwave, and I just put glass bowls so the kids can sit and watch it pop off of the cob. And then afterwards, when I pull it out, it's very hot. But they're just excited as can be to see it. Wow, it came off of a cob. Like, it doesn't just come from kernels from the microwave bag. So we do bring in air poppers, so that way we don't change the flavor, and then you can add whatever seasonings you want to try to make it an even playing field. You can see the rest of it. Whatever ingredients you want, get as creative as you want. We had people throw pepperoni in with the popcorn before, and naturally that was a big hit. I think that one first. So we do the taste testing. You can see there that students are learning in the classroom. There we are popping it off the cob, and there they are in our cafeteria, and we're tabulating the votes live, and the kids are taste testing. It's a great fun. Again, brings in tons of different disciplines. All at the same time, and when kids are engaged, that's when they're most likely going to do the most, get the most retention. Cool thing about this project, you can take the same concept and apply it to many different field subjects. I've done it before with George Washington Carver. We've made peanut butter in the classroom, and of course, be careful with allergies. We've done it with ice cream at my school. We have a food forest where we have Asian pear trees, and we also have nuts as well, chestnuts and hazelnuts. And so anyway, we make the custard. We use the eggs from our hens that are laying at our school, and we make the frozen custard and the different flavors. And then again, taste testing and what kids not going to be excited about eating ice cream in school for a grade. And then we also have done it with salsa, where we have our raised garden beds. We'll grow what we need, and then turn around and with those, a lot of the students don't want to eat salsa, but when they've grown, the tomatoes, when they've grown the peppers, and they can't wait to try it and see how it tastes. So again, a lot of fun, really engaging. And if you want to contact me, of course, there's my email. We have a school's website. I also manage that website, and feel free to call. Happy to give any hints, tips that you may have or need. All right. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Josh. Are there if there are any questions for Josh? Okay. I highly recommend the peanut butter as well. We got to do taste testing and some of his kids' recipes, pretty good. So, all right. So we're gonna move on to Sheila. Sheila is a family consumer science teacher at Waupaca High School, and I'm gonna let her just share. She's got all kinds of great stuff.
See, I have a question for Josh. How do you do the glass bowl on top of that cob? Is it you do that in the microwave?
Yeah. So I just make sure they're not too big, not too domed, or I just get a bigger microwave to bring in. But yeah, literally just two glass mixing bowls, and just put the cob in and put the other one on top, and that there's enough. It steams enough that it still pops, and then it also contains it, so it's not when I open it, it's all over the microwave. It's still in the bowl, so it's really simple. Just don't bump it while it's spinning.
Yeah, I definitely have to try it. We got a cob at National Egg in the Conference, and I'm yet to pop it yet because I've had classes say, let's do it in our class. And that'll be good. I can take a video of it.
Yeah, cool. Yep.
All right. Like Beth said, my name is Sheila Kroseberg, and I've spent most of my teaching, 24 years in middle school and 9 years in high school. And you can move the next slide there. I love to use popcorn because kids just are so happy when you talk about popcorn. It's like a huge reward. So learning is easy. I've tried one of the lessons here using pumpkin seeds, and they just don't get as excited as popcorn. So I've just found it really versatile. It captivates kids. So some of the learning objectives that you can use in your classroom, and it is K-12, you can teach the science behind popcorn, flavor development. So more at the high school level is more of the flavor development, and then culinary techniques. So when I first introduce different flavors, like you can apply that to other foods. So popcorn's an easy way to have them explore that. So you can. So a big thing in family consumer science, of course, is sanitation and safety. And I just couldn't leave this out because I thought this was really fascinating that this happened to a school district where the administrators got a new popcorn machine and decided to use it, and they all got sick. So I thought this is a kind of a fun way to teach serve safe. If you go to the next slide, you could use this with kids, like, what do you think happened? And then the different updates. It did turn out that they just happened to have a chemical there. And I looked up the chemical that accidentally got on the popcorn and made them sick. And it almost looks like that something you would put on popcorn. It was orange, like a cheddar seasoning or something. So I found that kind of interesting. So all the things that you can teach, you can also teach when we talk about serve safe. So again, similar to what Josh did, you could use this for science to compare methods, recording and analyzing the data, and talk about the moisture. I might have this wrong, but is it 17% moisture? Kelly,
So we try to get ours between like the 12% moisture.
17 will still mold.
So the 17% will still mold, like in the containers or in the pails. That's a little bit too wet.
Okay. So that's important. And I've also noticed, I found some popcorn that I've had for a long time. I had kept it. And I wasn't going to have the students use it because I thought, oh, it's not going to work. Well, I think it was 12 years old and it popped just fine. So I was really confused. I thought that it wouldn't work, but it must have held enough moisture to pop. But so when we get into the culinary classrooms, we're always talking about heat transfer and methods. So using radiation, convection, or conduction. So you can try the different ways out. In my classroom, we do the stovetop because they just love having the stovetop, and the pots that we have lids on it. And so they can really see what's going on. You can go to the next one then. On the next slide, it has, if you're interested in doing a flavor, I have all the links for different activities in the yellow link there that says Flavor Star, Guess the Spices. So this would be like a 3-day activity, teaching the students about flavors. It has the 5 flavor stars, like salty, sour, bitter, spicy, and sweet. And then where on your tongue do you get those flavors from? So it's talking about flavor first, and then it moves into herbs and spices, and then they get into developing their own flavors. They get to pick, what they want to put in their popcorn. So they have to come up with a recipe, and then the next day execute that recipe. So you could also do what Josh did, where they vote on the best recipe too, or invite staff in, because they always like to do taste testing, and students like to showcase their work. So there's some things there. If anybody wants to get into it. This is another thing another teacher had done with different spices or different mixes, because sometimes students just want, like, can you just direct me to some recipes? Well, there's some that that work. So they don't just like get too much salt or too much of something. So they have something to go by. The next slide is the one that I always use. It's in the matrix, and it's the herbs and spices of the world. And in there, it has everything you need and more for teaching this lesson. The best part is I teach a beginning culinary class. The next level that they go to, they're doing like herbs. They're doing seasonings for ribs or seasonings for a little more complex things. But in my class, I like to introduce the basics. So they get to put a chili seasoning, a jerk seasoning, barbecue, Italian, curry, Southwest, taco, and Cajun. And that's all in that lesson, Herbs and Spices of the World. So they can explore different flavors. And then the second one I use is that Columbian exchange. And that's always a fun one to do too, to see where the herbs and spices come from. So what's nice about that is all 3 levels. So you can pick and choose which one to use for your level in the classroom. Popcorn is also nutritious. So you can talk about serving sizes, the whole grain benefits, reading labels. So that nutrition focus could go into a health class. This would be great for a middle school level too. Cross-curricular connections, we kind of talked about already, so you can move on to the next one, because I've learned that there's some possible problems when it comes to popcorn. The biggest one is always demonstrate before having the kids do this, because you never anticipate this burning, because you're telling them, most kids just stand right by the popcorn and they want to watch it, and they're great, but then they forget to move it off the burner. So I tell them before we walk into lab, no one is going to burn their popcorn today, no one. And I'm like hyper vigilant because the minute they get a little whiff of like burnt popcorn in the building, it's disgusting. So just make sure you demonstrate, even if it's so simple. I usually demonstrate how to do it. And just make sure you have the fan on if you have ventilation in your building. But there was another one you can kind of see there on the slide, what kids could do, possibly like put the butter on first, because directions sometimes can be challenging. The next one, though, popcorn's really great for classroom management. I also use popcorn for cleaning tasks. So if I'm low on budget, I'll say, okay, we're going to clean. And then your reward is we're going to have popcorn because it's so easy to store popcorn. I can just pull it out at a moment's notice and we can make popcorn. It's just simple. It's not like having ice cream go bad in the freezer or something, or more expensive items. So I find that popcorn's it's a really easy one to have as a reward. But even if I've had, like, we're watching a movie, it's just calming, or we're going to work in groups and, oh, by the way, I just have some popcorn here. So it just is it's just one of those happy things. Let's see. The next one is I kind of put it on here thinking that people could take these worksheets and make a bulletin board if they'd like to, but that bottom one, you can put their picture in it, and then students, it could be a getting to know you activity where they put the things about themselves on there, just to get them thinking, or getting to know each other. But you could also use the popcorn for fundraisers, similar to what Kelly said. The resources on the next one, I couldn't believe the amount of recipes that are available. I got really excited when I was on the key lime popcorn, or learning about key lime popcorn, or popcorn.org. They've got a lot of good recipes. Land O'Lakes popcorn recipes, they have a lot of great ones on there. So I'd encourage you to check out some recipes. And also check out the Egg in the Classroom Matrix. Those two places were valuable to go to. And another thing, Kelly, you said that you are really excited about popcorn. I was watching videos, and most farmers that are popcorn farmers are super excited about what they do. I mean, I couldn't believe it. One of the videos I put on here was from the farm virtual field trip. And the farmer, I thought that he wasn't going to get excited at all. Like, who's excited about picking corn? And he was so excited about his popcorn. So I'd encourage you to check that one out too. So, yeah, I didn't know if we had time we probably don't have much time. You can cut me off. But thank you so much for, hopefully you can learn or take some of these ideas for your classrooms. All right. Thanks.
Thanks, Sheila. I know we're right up against the clock, but are there any questions for Sheila? Okay, well, we'll be sure to share her contact information. So I just have a couple of really quick updates. If you can hang with me for another 2 minutes or so, really want to highlight that there are some grant opportunities that are open right now. Kelly, this one's for you too. Kelly is an Ag in the Classroom coordinator for Oudenhoven County. So this particular grant opportunity is open to county farm bureaus and state farm bureaus through the American Farm Bureau Federation foundation. It's got a long name, I'll skip it. But schools can apply if they work with a local farm bureau. And in Wisconsin, we have 61 local farm bureaus, including Milwaukee County. So you can work with your local person if you're interested. This is due June 12th. And since I am not judging them, you can reach out to me if you have any questions or would like a proofreader. But it's a great opportunity if you are interested in incorporating some of the lessons, or you want to take a field trip to Kelly's farm, this is a great place where you can find some of those dollars to bring those ideas to life, because we know that school budgets are very, very tight. So this is a really nice size grant that we can share and help you go after. Additionally, if you're looking for more opportunities, we have a couple of summer trainings that are coming up. Registration is now open for our Growing Minds conference that's going to be taking place in St. Paul. We're co-hosting this dual state conference with Minnesota. It's our first time ever trying it. We're really excited to welcome everyone to St. Paul. And then we've got a couple more opportunities, but we just announced the date for our summer book tour. We take an author, we take a bus, and we tour the farms and places that inspired them to write their stories. So this year, author Liesl Detlefson, who is from Wisconsin, she's a cranberry grower. She's going to be hosting us, and we're going to visit her family's cranberry bog and farm. We know we're also going to the Food and Farm Exploration Center for part of the day to learn a little bit about vegetable crops and potatoes and see the world's largest potato masher. It does hold the Guinness record, but they also have an amazing amount of resources for you that teachers can check out and a pretty cool program. So we're excited. That information is going to be sent out very soon, but please save the date. We'd love to have you join us. Additionally, if you look around the state, we have teacher ambassadors who are our biggest cheerleaders and advocates. Josh and Sheila are ambassadors. But if you don't see someone in your neck of the woods, let us know. We are looking to expand and would love to have more people on board and serve as our cheerleaders as well as our sounding board. Our teacher ambassadors do a lot to help us make our resources better and make trainings more meaningful for your classroom. So this after school with Ag in the Classroom came from one of those conversations. So we're excited to bring that. So you can always learn more at our website, wisagclassroom.org. And like I mentioned, we'll be sharing out this slide deck with those of you who are live tonight. With that, I'm going to stop recording.